Hello there. Now, I don't know if you've heard this statistic, but they reckon that between 70 and 80% of change initiatives fail to achieve the intended outcome, which is a bit shocking, really. And it's worse in the state sector, actually, than it is in the private sector. Now, I'm going to just talk very quickly about 3 approaches to change. It's kind of simplified, but you get what I mean. And I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. The first one is that somebody in the hierarchy of hierarchy decides this is the change and this is how we're going to do it. And they can plan it quite carefully. They can say, look, we'll work with this team and then we'll do this team and then we'll implement it here and then we'll do this, and they go through that change process. And what they get almost inevitably is pushback. Now, there's some really good psychological reasons why you get pushback. I just don't have time to explain them in this video. Second approach is kind of similar, but we're going to consult with people. We're going to ask people what their views are. And the problem with that is that consultation process approach has got a really bad press. And when I talk to people in organisations, they often say, yeah, they say they consult, but they'll just carry on and do what they're going to do anyway. Now, that could be totally justified, because it could be the idea they've got is great. But I think there is a real challenge for leaders once they've kind of going out to consult, whether they are willing to actually listen and adapt. Now, a third approach, which is what we really encourage, is called an involvement process to change. And the idea behind this, well, I'll give you an example. Okay, it may not be a good example, but it's interesting anyway. I stay in a lot of hotels, and there's one hotel I stay in, and one of the things I've noticed is that the people change a lot. And then I went in once, and the menu had changed in the restaurant, and I went for dinner. I didn't like it at all, so I stopped going to the restaurant. And there's one person who's there pretty regularly, and they said, I noticed you've stopped eating in the restaurant. I said, yeah, I don't like the new menu. And her reaction was, yeah, I know, tell me about it. And what had happened was that somebody up in the hierarchy, within the chain that they work, had said, these are the new menus. And the staff don't think they're right. The chef doesn't think it's right. And just a really bad piece of change. And of course, they're losing customers. I mean, maybe they're gaining people who like it. I don't know. I think of another hotel I go to, and sometimes I just go there to eat because it's so good. And I went there with my daughter and her partner. And one of the things that I noticed, because I've been there a few times recently, is that every time I go, the menu is different, particularly the dessert menu. And I'm not kidding, they are the most creative and mind-blowing desserts I've had anywhere. And so, because they were quiet and the kitchen area is open and the chef was right close to me, I said, hey, where do these ideas come from, these desserts? Did the chain kind of send them down? He was really offended. He said, no. He said, we have this thing where once a month we get together for an afternoon, all the chefs and the staff in the kitchen, and they all come and present a dessert. And the more creative, the better. And he said it's got kind of so viral that the wait staff are offering ideas to the chefs quietly behind the scenes. And the idea is, I want to get my amazing dessert on the menu. I asked him what the turnover of staff is like, and he said, well, I'm not saying it's a problem, he said, but I do often find myself encouraging young chefs to get on and move on and go somewhere else and get some more experience, maybe go internationally, because they just really love working here. And the reason is, I think, because they feel so involved. Interested in your thoughts.